Picture it. Rural Kentucky, 1955. A small tin roof farmhouse tucked just outside the little town of Hopkinsville. It's late August. That kind of heat that makes the air feel syrup thick. The Sutton family and their friends are settling in for a quiet night. Cards, gun oil, and maybe a little bragging. Nothing unusual.
Until Billy Ray Taylor steps outside for some water and comes back looking like he's seen the ghost of the future. Wide-eyed, white-knuckled, and absolutely certain that something silver and glowing just drifted out of the sky and landed behind the tree line.
Now, keep in mind, Billy Ray is not the town clown. He's not the guy telling tall tales at the diner. He's just a teenager who suddenly looks like every hair on his body is trying to evacuate.
The others laugh it off, because of course they do, until the dog starts howling, until the shadows start shifting, until there are footsteps. Soft, skittering, moving around the edge of the property. And suddenly, the joke stops being funny.
Here's where the story stops sounding like a backwoods fable and starts sounding like a creature feature. Because what the Sutton family sees next becomes one of the strangest, most detailed alien encounter reports in American history. Small beings, 3 feet tall, glowing skin, bulbous heads, oversized eyes that gleam like silver coins, long arms that almost graze the ground, and hands with claws that look designed to grip anything.
And they don't walk. They float slowly, like they're underwater, like gravity is just a suggestion. They move with this uncanny and playful bounce, part puppet, part nightmare. One of them rises right up to the window, grinning like it knows something you don't.
What happens next is the stuff of legends. A 4-hour siege, gunfire, creatures peeking in the windows, dropping off roofs, popping up from the corner of your eye, creatures that, according to the family, never bled, never fell, and never stopped smiling.
It's one of those rare stories that feels too bizarre to invent, too consistent to dismiss, and just silly enough that if something extraterrestrial were visiting rural Kentucky in 1955, this is exactly how you would behave. Mischievous, curious, almost gremlin-like.
Which brings us to tonight's deep dive. A beloved Christmas movie full of chaos and tiny monsters, and the real, documented extraterrestrial encounter that may have inspired the look of those creatures.
Because sometimes the line between folklore, Hollywood magic, and actual eyewitness terror is a whole lot thinner than we think.
This is the Fear Archive.
And tonight, we're feeding the Gremlins.
Oh, man. Welcome back to the Fear Archive, the show where we dig through the dusty... The show where we dig through the dusty filing cabinets of the unexplained and pull out things that probably should have stayed in the dark.
But we don't leave anything in the dark because Mike has a compulsion to shine flashlights on every cryptid, conspiracy, and weird little guy lurking in America's underbrush.
Look, if a tiny creature with big eyes and questionable motives pops up outside your farmhouse window, I want to know about it. I want photos. I want measurements. I want emotional impact statements.
Yeah, and tonight's creatures check every box on Mike's gonna love this list. Small, mischievous, unnervingly cute, and capable of ruining your entire evening with minimal effort.
Yeah, which is why we're making what I think is a completely justified leap from the 1955 Hopkinsville Goblins to one of the most beloved chaos gremlin franchises ever put on film. Gremlins!
I just have to say, Gremlins is one of my favorite movies from childhood. I'm really excited to chat about it.
Ow! I had to take this thing off my face. That thing hurts so bad. I'm sorry. If you're watching the video, you just saw me rip a melted Gremlins mask off of my face. I'm still in the Gizmo costume.
Mike's in full costume. I also popped off the mask, and that's why we were laughing. I'll show it again quickly. I got this at Rite Aid 90% off after Halloween. It's not quite a gremlin, but it kind of resembles one.
It I love it. This I got at I got this at like a costume store that was going out of business when I lived on Long Island. It was in Rocky Point, and I think it's actually kind of homemade. It
Yeah,
smells
it's
terrible,
giving
and
homemade.
mm, it stinks, and it definitely at some point had a spider infestation. So,
Fun. I might have to send
yeah.
this to you to replace your mask.
Oh man, that's great. It's very terrifying.
Yeah.
It's been
Um,
fed after midnight. Oh,
quite possibly.
so yeah.
Um,
So where are we at? So we're gonna break it all down. We're gonna talk about this case that may have inspired Gremlins. What the family saw, how Hollywood picked up the pieces, and why these pint-sized little creatures still hold a weird, stubborn place in American folklore.
so settle in, lock your windows, and maybe don't go outside for a glass of water alone.
Because if something's watching from the tree line,
It probably wants to be in tonight's episode.
let's get
get
into
into
it.
it.
We're getting better with that.
We did it!
Yeah. All right, here we go. Hopkinsville. I really want to preface this by saying that the story probably it owes a lot to moonshine. I think the real case, probably. But anyway, it was the evening of August 21st, 1955, a hot summer night on a rural farm near the little hamlet of Kelly, Kentucky. The farmhouse belonged to the Sutton family. The house was modest. No running water, no phone, no radio, no TV. Basic rural living. That night, friend of the family, Billy Ray Taylor, he walked outside to draw water from the well. And as he did, he claimed he saw strange lights in the sky. A bright, silvery object descending slowly, glowing, then dropping into a nearby gully. To him, it didn't look like a plane or a falling star. It looked like something else entirely. Then he rushed back to tell the rest of the group. And, of course, they laughed him off, chalked it up to an overactive imagination. But that dismissal didn't last long. Within an hour, their dogs began barking uncontrollably and running from the yard, clearly spooked by something outside.
Curious and concerned, two of the men, Taylor and Elmer Lucky Sutton, went to the back door to investigate. What they saw has become legendary. In the faint glow of the night, they claimed to make out a small humanoid figure emerging from the trees. No taller than 3.5 feet, the creature reportedly had a large, almost comically oversized head, long arms that nearly reached the ground, and hands with talon-like claws. Its eyes glowed, often described as yellowish, and its body had a sheen, as if a metallic or silver under the moonlight. Startled and terrified, the men grabbed weapons, a 20-gauge shotgun and a .22 rifle, and they opened fire. The bullets struck, but what they hit wasn't the creature. Nope. Their bullets struck, and when they hit the creature, what they heard was not a flesh-giving way, but a hollow clang, like a shot hitting a metal bucket. The creature allegedly flipped backwards, recovered, and then fled into the darkness, entirely unharmed. To make matters stranger, it seemed to disappear as soon as it hit the ground.
Oh man, I love this. I love this story so much. So after that, that first encounter, it threw the night in absolute chaos. And over the next several hours, by the family's reckoning, nearly 4 hours, multiple strange beings kept appearing at the back door, side windows, even perched on an awning or the roof. Windows rattled, the dogs whimpered, the children cried, women and men scrambled, trying to defend themselves. And the creatures, by all accounts, didn't use weapons. Hell, they didn't even communicate. They simply floated, glided, popped up in the yard, and stared. So, one of the more chilling moments occurred when the men say that a claw-like hand reached down from a roof or overhang and touched Taylor's hair. As you can imagine, that sent a wave of panic through the house. They opened fire again, and the shots rang out through the night, but apparently did nothing. So some of the creatures reportedly floated gently to the ground after being shot, and then just disappeared into the darkness.
Eventually, around 11 p.m., the family seized a rare pause. They bundled the children into the cars, grabbed what they could, and drove fast to the nearby police station in town. When they arrived, 11 terrified people, adults and children, told the officers a story. Small alien creatures, glowing eyes, impossible resilience to gunfire. The local police, led by Russell Greenwell, didn't dismiss them out of hand. He later noted that these people were not people who typically ran to the law. What they did is reach for their guns, he said. Yet, here they were, shaken, frightened, pleading for help. One man's pulse had reportedly shot up to 140 beats per minute. Officers later joined the state troopers and military police from nearby Fort Campbell, returned to the farmhouse with a newspaper photographer in tow. What they found: bullet holes in the walls and windows, spent shell casings, evidence of a gunfight, but no sign of any strange beings. No tracks, no crashed UFO, no glowing metal skin lying in the grass. Nothing.
Still, the lack of physical evidence didn't calm the community shock. So in the days following, the farmhouse was overwhelmed by curiosity seekers, and reporters and skeptics. Some locals ridiculed the family. Others came hoping to catch a glimpse of the creatures themselves. The news spread nationally. So what had become a backwoods farmhouse became the center of one of America's most baffling UFO tales. Later investigations, including by UFO researchers and skeptics, tried to piece together rational explanations. Some proposed that what the family saw were simply large nocturnal animals, possibly owls. Others suggested the glowing craft might have been a meteor or a falling star.
But no matter what theory you prefer, one thing remains: the sheer number of witnesses, 8 adults, several children, all terrified, and their consistent descriptions. The details remain largely unchanged in separate interviews. Small size, large glowing eyes, metallic body, climbing or floating movements, repeated approaches, and a chilling sense of being toyed with rather than attacked, as one would expect from a hostile predator. And consider the context. I mean, this was 1955 in rural Kentucky. Not the first time we've been in a rural setting, you guys.
No. I feel like every one of our I feel like every other episode in the season is some like rural place, where there's something terrible happening to
True
people.
crime loves a farm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
These weren't hoaxers seeking attention. According to descendants and community records, the Suttons were devout, hardworking people. No prior history of hoaxes. No evidence of drunken revelry at night. Several sources note that police found no signs of intoxication.
Oh, my bad. I called them drunks.
When?
I think earlier, right? Like I said, moonshine was involved. Oh, sorry. Anyway, by dawn, I still think moonshine was involved. But anyway, by dawn, whatever had visited the farm had vanished. The family left the area. Some moved. The press faded. The reporters left. But the legend was born. Over time, the story of the little men, later sometimes called goblins or, wait for it, little green men, right? I think this is actually, this might be where that came from, that term. But anyway, this all spread far beyond Kentucky. So the odd details, the glowing eyes, the metallic bodies, uncanny floating motion, immunity to bullets. It would go on to inspire decades of UFO lore, alien mythos, cryptid speculation, and, well, eventually fiction.
But at the core of it, what remains is a night of terror. 11 people trapped inside a tiny farmhouse, cries of children, gunshots in the darkness, something strange peering in the windows, scratches on the roof. The sense of presence, not violent in a monstrous animal sense, but unsettling, invasive, curious, unfathomable. Whether you believe the creatures were real aliens, misidentified owls, or shared hallucinations born of panic and fear, the night of August 21st, 1955, remains one of the most fascinating and confounding accounts of a close encounter horror in American history. The facts we do know, the number of witnesses, their consistency, the attempts at defense, the physical evidence of gunfire, they give it weight. And Those weighty details are what keep the legend alive more than 70 years later.
So, Hopkinsville Goblins. What a story.
Yeah. I mean, I okay, let me ask you this question straight up, right?
Yeah.
Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy to think we're the only beings in the entire universe. If people do believe that, I feel like stop being such a narcissist, guys. But
Yeah, we're not alone. We're totally not alone.
yeah.
Have you, Amanda, let me ask you, have you ever seen anything bizarre in the night sky or in the day sky?
Yeah, so actually it was during pandemic. This is a quick one. Me and my husband, Peter, we went outside. It was like, let's go for a walk, and like there was like a meteor shower. We're like, let's go look and see them. And we saw like a rainbow shoot across the sky that didn't feel like a shooting star, but I think it's been debunked in my head because I looked up things, deep dove, and apparently it is. But I like to think it was an alien. I don't know. And
That's
then when I was
wild.
young, I kind of had like an experience, but I might save that for later. But I don't know.
Nice.
How about you?
Yes. Yeah. So but I will say this. I haven't had an alien. I didn't have any sort of alien related experiences until I moved to the Hudson Valley in 2019. And since I have, over the almost past 6 years, I've seen a lot of weird stuff that I can't explain. One of them, and this is like the one that like, I don't know why I find this so unsettling, but red lightning. So, our listeners, if you can explain red lightning, please do. It just reminded me of like an X-Files episode. Like actually, I'll tell you the specific X-Files episode it reminded me of. Eve from the first season, where like the little girl Eve, the Eve, talks about red lightning. And as I think we've insinuated at different points on this podcast this season, that I wake up I leave my house at 4:30 in the morning to drive down to the city to teach, and I am driving on the New York State Thruway in almost pitch blackness because there's no lights on the Thruway, and this a couple of times I've seen this weird red lightning, and one of the times it was in the middle of winter. So it's certainly I've had some strange experiences up here, but they also there's a term for it up here. I know several podcasts have covered this too. They call it the Hudson Valley Lights.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's an alien, if it's atmospheric, but I've definitely had experiences as well.
Yeah, upstate New York is known for alien sightings, I feel like.
We have this town, Pine Bush.
Yeah, Pine Bush. Yeah.
Pine Bush, yeah. They have a UFO museum there that I've still never gone to. Pine Bush is definitely, I know we will do a Travis Walton episode, but he's been there a bunch of times at that museum. Famous alien abduction survivor.
Yeah. Something that fascinates me about this entire case is the way that they described the aliens, the creatures. And then when I was looking it up, I was reading a lot about how the like government investigators were really involved, and that after they went and it was like in the news, it kind of just died. The story just died. And it really wasn't circulating after it was initially brought up, which makes me think like, my love of conspiracy theory.
Oh, totally.
But but think about it. Like, what did they find? Are they covering something up? Did they just kill the story?
Are the Hopkinsville Goblins shadow running the government to this very day? I don't know. Maybe.
Love lizard people.
No. These
the
aliens in this story are actually adorable. They are so cute. I want to like snuggle with all of them.
I know.
They're very cute.
You guys will probably see images of them in social media. So hop over to IG if you want to see what they look like. They're really cute. They are really cute. I still have on my desk. It has little decorations on it, but I have my little Furby.
Yeah.
For everyone listening, I'm showing my Furby. So I would I would love
They're
to
not
watch
like
her.
the Whitley Strieber anal probing grays, you know? No. I mean, like, I feel like, and let me ask you this,
Mhm.
right? Do you feel like, I mean, there's got to be all right, if aliens are real, which they probably are, there are like multiple species of them, right? Like
Mhm.
you got the tall whites and the grays and the lizard people, the Anunnaki, and you got these little cute marshmallow looking thingies. Sorry.
I know. But no, you're right? Like there isn't just one probably. This is a huge universe. Um I believe when I believe in aliens, I think there's all different forms. There's even like gases that could just be an alien being, right? Because it's not of Earth. Um
Right.
so definitely believe in all of that. Um but going back to the case, let me ask you like how do you feel about all the heavy gunfire, the house damage, but it has a total absence of bodies, blood, or tracks?
I'm gonna go back and say and I'm sure someone's gonna get mad, and it's fine. Get mad at me. Get mad at me. I think they were drunk. I
Yeah.
think they were drunk and they missed.
I was thinking possibly not drunk, but what if there was something leaking, like a gas or a chemical or things, to make them all
Swamp
experience the
gas.
same thing? I don't know, but something to experience it all at the same time. That's kind of what I was thinking when I was looking into the case of because it doesn't seem like they were doing like any sort of testing on. I mean, it was also 1955, right? So
Right.
what kind of testing did we really have to see what kind of like you know
Right. I mean, it could have.
toxins they could be affecting them truly?
So it could have been like black mold, maybe, or
I
like some
mean,
kind of like swamp. Like it wasn't a
that
swamp. I mean, it's
I was
Kentucky. It's
think
not a swamp.
I was even thinking like just like maybe at the basement there was like some chemicals. Maybe there in the basement there were some chemicals that mixed together and put up a gas to make them hallucinate. Maybe it was a hallucination.
Oh, it's the pre-meth moonshine, proto meth.
Crazy.
No. I mean, maybe. I mean, and who knows? I mean, I know like they constantly with this story for some reason they constantly deny the involvement of any alcohol. Which, look, I don't want to tarnish this family's name, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and say maybe there's been a
Mhm.
little bit of moonshine, related to the story.
Do you think the owl explanation is like a genuine solution or just a convenient way to close the case?
I feel like the owl one is like, what is the thing that they usually say that a UFO is? A weather balloon? I feel like it was an owl. I feel like that's as good as saying it was
Yeah.
a weather balloon.
But I do know that
Swamp
owls,
gas.
the specific owl, I think this
Owls are
was
creepy.
a great horn owl. I think I was reading they do stand up to be like 4 feet tall, which is I'm 4'11", guys. To have a bird standing almost as tall as me is actually terrifying.
Birds are scary.
Have you ever seen an owl's legs? Like we're so off topic now, but
No.
I
Are they
beg
lean?
I beg you to look up an owl's legs because it's
I'm
hilarious.
doing it right now.
Yeah. Um it's like
Owls' legs.
under all their feathers they
They're
have these
weird. They have these like
long, lanky legs.
they're scary. Damn. Go figure. It kind of it kind of makes me it kind of makes them even more endearing. They're very cute. But like
They look like they're going to a yoga class in leggings. Okay.
yeah, they do. That's exactly what it looks like. Is leggings. It's hilarious.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
looking at
Okay.
pictures. No. It's good. It works.
I don't think it was an owl because
No.
some of the reports in the sighting said that they were hanging like upside down from like the gutter, like looking into the window, which is terrifying, but also really ties into the movie we're going to talk to in a little bit. But yeah, I think owls was just a cheap shot to like be like, nope, you're crazy. They were birds.
Right. That's the old
Yeah.
the old bird swindle. I don't know what that means.
Bird swindle.
The bird swindle. The Men in Black. This is actually an interesting story because I wonder. I mean, correct us if we're wrong. Drop it in the comments. Send us a DM. I feel like this story is absent of the Men in Black because I feel like this would be a time for the Men in Black to show up. This was like about the same time, if not before, when the Point Pleasant stuff happened in West Virginia with the Mothman, and this is like after this post Roswell. So I don't know. This feels like a perfect time for them to show up.
If this exact event happened today with cameras, do you think we finally get answers?
No.
I know. I feel like everyone would be like, AI.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's the fucked up aspect of it, right? Like, today, like there is no more... reality is just the line between reality and fiction is just so blurred. It's blurred even more today, so it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
This was the purest moment to decide if this was real or not, I think.
Why do you think they never went inside the house? If they were real.
I don't know. I think they were just
talk about
dicks.
this like they are real, right?
Yeah, no, they are.
I
want these things to exist somewhere.
I
hope they harass me at some point in my family. I would probably hate it, but no,
Aliens,
I think
if you're out there, come visit. I'll visit you. I don't want that one serial killer. I forgot which one it was.
Paul Bateson. Bateson, do
not visit me. Aliens.
Bateson. We're gonna go to West Hill. We're gonna go to West Hill Supply together, and I'm gonna buy you a beer, and you're gonna spill your guts to me.
Stop! He's gonna spill your guts.
And the cat. Yeah, he will probably. I mean, I'm easy. I sleep with a hammer under my bed, motherfucker. No,
he wears costumes with spiders in it. Let's just okay.
Anyway, so where am I going with this? So I think with these little creatures, I think that aliens have personalities just like us. And I think that these were mischievous little things. And I think that they were just fucking with these people personally. I think that they were like, look at these assholes. These guys are getting so mad. No, but I think that they were just mischievous. I think that they were cute little mischievous pains in the ass. They were like little goblin assholes. And that's my theory on it, is I don't think that they had malicious intent. Like, they weren't looking to like abduct and study this family. They were looking to fuck with them. What do you think?
What if this was just some teenage aliens coming to a new planet and they're
drunk driving the UFO?
Yeah, they're like,
don't do that.
Let's do some shibbity boodoo. I don't know, that's their drug. And that's their drug choice, shibbity boodoo. And let's go to this earth with water. Like, these idiots living on this planet, you're gonna drown.
No anal probing.
They go down and
unless they say yes.
They fuck with these people. 1955, though, like, thinking about the timing, it must have been terrifying.
It's a weird year.
But that must have been terrifying. Because, I mean, I think science fiction was just on the rise, right? And
there was a lot of important shit going on in 1955.
Yeah.
I mean, that like you're talking about, like, you know, the civil rights
World
movement.
War II.
Yeah. There's just so much stuff going on. The atom, right? Like the
Oppenheimer.
The creation of the interstates in this country.
I guess Oppenheimer was for that. Anyway.
Hey, first McDonald's too.
Listen, they just...
Full transparency, I'm Googling what happened in 1955.
They just want cheeseburgers.
They're like, I heard this guy, Ray Kroc.
I heard he stole this idea and opened up his own.
Maybe they were like lost on their way to Disneyland, because Disneyland did open this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I heard it was a disaster.
Big time for capitalism in 1955.
All right, so we're getting into the movie, Joe Dante, and I have a couple. I really want to talk about I feel like every one of these episodes I have some sort of fucking weird personal connection to the almost if and what could have happened. I was very close to something with Joe Dante at one point, and we'll talk about that. Hang on, I'm just trying to. Okay. All right, so let's jump from real-life goblins lurking around a Kentucky farmhouse to the little chaos creatures that broke into a bank, a bar, and America's collective Christmas spirit, Gremlins! A movie that is somehow adorable, horrifying, anarchic, and wholesome all at once.
And like all great monster movies, its origins are much smaller, scrappier, and weirder than most people remember. Gremlins didn't start as a cute holiday classic. It started as a horror script, a gnarly one.
Yeah, right. So let's hit the first pillar. So Chris Columbus, you may remember him from such works as Home Alone and Harry Potter.
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
He was a scrappy college kid, an aspiring screenwriter living in a crummy Manhattan apartment. And at night, he hears a mouse skittering around, scratching in the walls, knocking things over. So he thinks, hey, what if those noises weren't mice? What if they were something else? And boom, the earliest draft of Gremlins is born.
And that early script, much darker. We're talking limbs ripped off, mom decapitated, the gremlins legitimately evil. It's a creature feature through and through, but Columbus had something special. A concept built on rules, world building, and these small monster characters that feel like they have personalities.
Then Steven Spielberg comes along. He reads the script and he goes, okay, this is bonkers, but it's fresh. Spielberg at this point is coming off of E.T., the biggest movie on Earth. And he sees Gremlins not as disposable B-movie fluff, but as this perfect mix of horror and family fantasy.
So Spielberg brings in Joe Dante to direct, and here's why that matters. Dante is the perfect bridge between mainstream Hollywood and classic genre cinema. He came up through Roger Corman's New World Pictures, where you learn to be efficient, creative, and mischievous on a budget the size of a paperclip.
Yeah, Dante's film school was basically, hey kid, here's $200 and half a rubber mask. Go make a masterpiece. So, movies like Piranha and The Howling put him on Spielberg's radar. Dante had this playful, chaotic energy in his directing and the sense that, the movie knows it's a movie and it's winking at you, which is super important, right? And Gremlins, as a script, needed someone who could handle both the sincerity and the anarchy.
Enter producer Michael Fennell, another Corman alumnus. And then Spielberg's company, Amblin, folds the whole thing into that early 1980s blockbuster factory, creating this perfect storm of influences. B-movie DNA, studio money, and big-hearted fantasy filmmaking.
And the biggest question on set, how do we make these creatures? Remember, this is 1984. No CGI. No digital puppets. Everything's practical. Everything is wires, servos, smoke, slime, and puppeteers hiding just off frame.
And if you guys haven't seen Gremlins, I really would suggest looking up how freaking cute Gizmo is. He's cute. He's so cute. He's so cute. The other one's frightening.
Yeah.
Actually frightening. And there were a lot of them.
Yeah, one of them was like exposing himself to people.
Yeah, the trench coat one. So,
yeah.
Special effects. Bring in special effects wizard Chris Wallace, who later did The Fly, created the Mogwai and Gremlins designs. These creatures are insanely expressive for a 1980s animatronics. Every eyebrow twitch, every snarl, every giggle, all done by hand. It was painstaking. Some puppets reportedly cost $30,000 a piece, and they break constantly. And if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest it's a Christmas movie. I watch it every Christmas. It's a tradition in our household. There's a lot of them in the movie, y'all. Like, there's a shit ton. So if these were breaking all the time, I can't even imagine. There must have been a true gremlin factory going on.
Yeah, Joe Dante chasing people around. He's like, come here, kid, fix this gremlin. Fix this gremlin. Fix him, damn it. Damn it, fix this gremlin.
Dante's workshop.
He's kicking someone in the ass. He's kicking Chris Wallace in the ass. And then Spielberg is just like, I don't know if this is going to work. And Joe Dante's like, I'll make it work. I don't know if that's how Joe Dante talks.
Probably
But
not, but it's
no,
okay.
I'll get to my Joe Dante story. But anyway.
All right.
So the set became a battleground between narrative pacing and puppet fragility. Joe Dante had joked that the movie should have wrapped months earlier, but they were constantly waiting for a puppet's jaw to start working. Puppet's jaw to start working again. Oh, man. And the crew? They were probably stoned out of their mind and keyed up. This is the 80s, right? So they would hide gizmo dolls all around the set to prank each other because they were so sick of fixing them. But
speaking of Gizmo, a little fun detail is the reason the Mogwai turn into the Gremlins when wet is because from a practical production standpoint, they couldn't actually afford to have that many Gizmo puppets. So the story shifts from Gizmo off screen for most of the second half of the movie. Like, problem solved. The Gremlins, meanwhile, were technically easier, more movement, fewer fur-related disasters. And honestly, they're quite terrifying.
yeah, they're scary.
Imagine those taunting you.
They're like reptilian little motherfuckers. Like they really they got like the snake-like skin, but then they got these teeth like a ferret. Mm-hmm. You know, they're really like, I don't know. They are scary monsters. But Gizmo's adorable.
He is.
Always. Yeah. So production took place mostly on the Universal Studios lot. And I think, Amanda, you and I have both been on that lot a lot. In fact, do we want to bring in the Pearl reference? I mean, that's the same when they ride around on the golf cart in Pearl, like that they're going through the town square.
That's the Universal lot. Yep.
Yeah. So that Universal lot, it's also, you've seen it in Back to the Future. You've seen it in Pearl. Not Pearl. You've seen it in Maxine.
It was Maxine.
It was Maxine. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Pearl was in New Zealand.
Yeah. The whole cheery Christmas aesthetic. I think that was actually in the Monster Squad, too. I think they shot on that lot, that Shane Black, Fred Decker Monster Squad. I think like with the Burger King and like, I think I'm digressing so much. So
It's all right.
The whole cheery Christmas aesthetic, snow, lights, red and green everywhere. It was built artificially. It gives this movie this whole uncanny storybook vibe.
Joe Dante directs the whole thing with this balance of sweetness and menace. He leans into Looney Tunes energy, visual gags, slapstick, little winking references, but never forgets that these creatures are genuinely dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic trick. The movie scares children, makes adults laugh, and it totally comments on its own chaos.
And you got a great fucking cast. I mean, this movie has such an interesting cast. You got Zach Galligan as Billy Peltzer, the world's most earnest Christmas movie protagonist, and a hell of a nice guy. I've met him. And you get Phoebe Cates. Oh, man. Fast Times. Phoebe Cates is Kate, though. This is post-Fast Times. She's playing it with a grounded sincerity that really makes her infamous. But then you get Hoyt Axton as Billy's inventor dad. Oh, man, that guy. He could sell bullshit to a cow's asshole.
Mm-hmm. And that's where Gizmo's name comes from. So if anyone's wondering why he's Gizmo.
Oh, man, I never knew that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense. He's got all his weird, the bathroom buddy, which sounds really
all his
wrong.
Weird gizmos.
That could sound so
gadgets.
bad.
Yeah. But the standout, the legend, the connective tissue in the entire history of American genre filmmaking is Dick Miller.
Totally. Dick Miller, man. Gotta love that guy. R.I.P. He was in everything. My favorite Dick Miller memory is in that other Joe Dante movie when he was in the movie Matinee, which is, we got to cover Matinee at some point because that movie is totally inspired by a real event. But Dick Miller, he's the patron saint of character actors, the face of the Roger Corman universe. This is a dude who's been in everything from A Bucket of Blood, The Howling, Piranha, even fucking Terminator, man. And, just every cult movie from 1950 to like 1990.
And in Gremlins, he plays Murray Fetterman.
The
neighbor obsessed with the sabotage and foreign machinery. He basically creates the film's thesis that little creatures are out there messing with American technology. It's paranoia mixed with patriotism and delivered all with Dick Miller's gruff charisma.
It's like, hey, I'm Dick Miller. That's how he talked. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Dick Miller, man, his presence ties the movie back to the B movie era, though. So I think that's the important thing. And now, like, upon just even saying these lines as we're recording, Amanda, I'm just like thinking, like, oh, it makes so much sense that Dick Miller is like the old conservative guy in Matinee who's like picketing John Goodman's Mant movie.
Yeah.
Again, whole other episode in of itself, but Dick Miller, he's the handshake between Corman's world and Spielberg's world, which is truly mind-boggling. It's crazy, right? Like, you go from someone like Roger Corman, who is like, popsicle sticks and chewing gum, we're going to make this movie work with that. Like, I don't know if that actually did it, but like where I'm going at is like, you go from the DIY of Corman to the extravagant, huge budgets of Spielberg. And, you got this guy in both of those films. And, Joe Dante adored him. And he puts Dick Miller in like almost everything he ever directs here on out. I think Dick Miller even was in Dante's last movie, which was Burying the Ex.
Gremlins hits theaters in 1984, the same day as Ghostbusters, and it becomes a wild, unexpected hit. But also, it scares enough children that it basically helps create the PG-13 rating. Spielberg and Dante were pushing the boundaries of what family movie meant.
Its influence, it's fucking huge. It ushers in decades of small creature cinema. What a name. It becomes the go-to example of horror for kids. And, it cements Joe Dante as one of the great American genre stylists, a guy who takes pulp and makes it art. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, and it's about the movie's DNA, mischievous little monsters, rules for their behavior, a wholesome town under siege. It ties it beautifully back to Hopkinsville Goblin story, especially that weird mix of whimsy and terror. So, for anyone who hasn't seen the movie Gremlins, there's the dad, he wants to buy a gift for his son, and he goes to the beginning bothers me a little. He goes to a shop in Chinatown and finds this little creature. So he brings it home, and the guy at the shop says, there's 2 rules. Mike, what are the rules?
Don't feed it after midnight.
Yep.
And don't give it water.
Don't get it wet.
Don't. Yeah, jeez. That guy can't get anything wet.
I don't know. His wife really liked his gadget. So basically we have this creature with these rules, and you guessed it, the rules were broken. So within like the first 20 minutes of the movie, this thing is
Gizmo's
getting
wet.
He's wet.
He's
and then all
these
little like almost fur balls pop out of him. And that's where we get the evil gremlins come from. They don't have fur, and if they do, it's sparse like hair on them. And they are the mischievous ones. Gizmo is the kind-hearted creature. He's just like a good boy. He is a good boy. The other one's bad boy, being bad boys. So
yeah, they're like juvenile. You know what's funny? Because Dante had like this 1950s aesthetic that I think he embraces in every one of his movies, and like they're like the juvenile delinquents. Like they're really bad. They're like snapping their fingers. They're like
yeah.
They got a gun.
When you're
like flashing women
all the way, it's giving that. So, but like
bad.
This really ties in to what we are talking about tonight.
The Hopkinsville Goblins. They're little bastards. Which brings us full circle. So the Suttons spend one long night battling creatures that felt like they were toying with them. And 40 years later, we got Gremlins, a movie about creatures that are absolutely toying with them. Toying with us.
Well, yeah. Art imitates life, or at least it imitates life when you swap out bulletproof goblins for puppets and add a Christmas tree.
So let's get to those connections. All right, so let's talk about how Gremlins, a movie about chaotic Christmas puppets who love violence and vaudeville, fits into the lineage of the Hopkinsville Goblin case. And, it does, guys, a lot.
Yeah, it totally does. I mean, if you look at the descriptions from the Sutton family in 1955, those goblins and small, mischievous, weirdly expressive, and behave less like animals and more like prankster entities. Not killing, not hunting, just messing with. It's the exact energy that Joe Dante built the Gremlins are.
Yeah, in Hopkinsville, you get creatures popping up in windows, peering around corners, climbing roofs, tapping on screens, not aggressively attacking, just being little agents of chaos. And that DNA directly echoes the behaviors of Dante's Gremlins. I mean, they poke, they prod, they tease. It's mischief before menace.
In folklore, a gremlin isn't originally a furry Christmas demon. It comes from an early aviation culture, especially British RFA pilots in World War II. Gremlins were blamed for mechanical malfunctions. They'd break your engine, tamper with your wings, chew wiring. Basically, the embodiment of technological sabotage.
Yeah, which makes Dick Miller's character in the Gremlins, Murray Futterman, the most folklore accurate person in the entire movie. He's literally ranting about foreign machinery and little creatures that get inside your appliances. So that's straight up Gremlins lore from wartime pilots.
Especially the Wampanoag and Algonquin stories about Pukwudgie. These are small trickster beings with spiky features, glowing eyes, and a habit of messing with humans.
So Pukwudgies are mischievous, unpredictable, sometimes hostile, but often just weird. They appear at the edge of forests. They peek between trees. They mimic voices. They lure people or just harass travelers. It's that trickster entity thing again. These guys are dicks. And visually, the Hopkinsville descriptions, big ears, round head, long arms, glowing eyes, they aren't far from some of the traditional Pukwudgie drawings. They're not, but I mean, there's somewhat of a connection. Both share that uncanny mix of cute but not cute.
Exactly. We're targeting archetypes here. Small humanoids, pranksters, sometimes magical, showing up at night, messing with settlements. That overlaps with the Kelly case, which overlapped with creature cinema, which eventually overlaps with Gremlins. The line isn't direct, but the influence is cultural. Tiny chaos beings have been haunting our imaginations forever.
Right. And, if you want a filmic parallel that's closer to the Hopkinsville vibes than Gremlins, you got to look at this thing called the McPherson tape. It's a really fucked up movie. It's like a 1989 found footage alien home invasion movie, which I think, it bounces back from being on Shudder to Arrow to like Screambox, while you're streaming horror platforms. It's a low budget, grainy, improv heavy film, and it's basically family in a rural home with the lights out and small aliens at the windows. Panic, gunshots, all that stuff. It's a real spooky one. So it's actually it's not the feel good hit of the summer. It's a disturbing one. So go in caution on the McPherson tape.
But here's my favorite visual parallel. And this one isn't talked about enough, but the Hopkinsville Goblin looks suspiciously like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, it's big ears, big eyes, round head, cute but feral, a little bluish in some depictions.
Even my daughter loves Lilo and Stitch.
But even the
It's
clown,
hard to not like it. It's a classic.
How can you not love Stitch? He's a cute little bastard.
Doing that the voice, it reminds me of how in Gremlins, Gizmo actually talks and he says words in his little gremlin voice. Yeah. He says little words here and there. He's a smarty.
Yeah, I watched it. My son reminds me of Gizmo. We were watching Gremlins with the kids the other night, and they got very bored with it very quick. I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old.
Well, that checks out. They're like Lilo and Stitch.
But my son reminds me of Gizmo. Like, he talks like Gizmo. He's like, yeah. So they totally, yes.
Yeah, but Stitch's whole personality is basically gremlin energy, but made cuddly. He's destructive, manic, curious, and doesn't understand human boundaries. A family adopting a creature they don't fully comprehend, that's literally Billy and Gizmo. Stitch is the love child of Gizmo and the Hopkinsville Goblin.
Yeah, it's Gremlins DNA meets Goblin silhouette meets Hawaiian heart. And I'm convinced someone on the Disney team had at least a passing familiarity with the Kelly case and its legacy.
Yeah.
So I like to think that was a nice big wink at us in the UFO community.
So what we end up with is this weird cultural loop. 1955 rural alien encounter. Decades of folklore comparisons. Creature feature cinema. Gremlins blending horror and mischief. Found footage riffing on rural alien panic. Pop culture creatures that are cute but chaotic. And Stitch.
And it all rests as on the same archetype. Small humanoid entities who invade the edges of human life. Sometimes evil, sometimes playful, always unpredictable. Gremlins, goblins, puckwudgies, Hopkinsville visitors, McPherson aliens, even Stitch. They're all riffs on the same ancient idea of the little strange thing that shows up, breaks the rules, and changes everything.
And that's why the Hopkinsville story stays with us. It gives us the blueprint, the silhouette, the behavior, these small, unexplainable, hyper-expressive beings staring into our windows. Every movie and creature that comes after is basically remixing the one terrifying night in Kentucky.
Yeah, whether you laugh at them or you fear them or adopt them as your pet alien, the small humanoid intruder, it's here to stay, folks.
And they make for great movies and terrible roommates.
You know what, Amanda?
What?
I don't know. I would totally hang out with Gizmo. How about you?
I would, but just don't feed him after midnight or get him wet.
Yeah. I know. So apparently they're making a third Gremlins.
They are. It was greenlit. I really hope
so
it's going to be good.
I hope it's good to see Zach Galligan. I hope they get Phoebe Cates. So after all of this, I think it's fair to say that if tiny goblin gremlin beings ever do show up again, MUFON needs to give us a call first. We got this figured out, guys.
Yes, because we are absolutely the two people you want on the front lines of a small but chaotic creature invasion. Mike will be out there with a flashlight and a bag of snacks trying to lure them into a humane trap.
Yeah, snacks are diplomacy, Amanda?
Yeah, just
Basic-
let's not feed them after midnight, though.
Basic interspecies etiquette.
You would 100%. You would hand a granola bar over and hope for the best.
And based on the witness accounts, they might actually take it. They'd skitter away with it, some glowing-eyed crouching in the brushes, then come back for another. That's called progress.
Meanwhile, I'd like to be the one reminding you that these creatures, or whatever category they fall in, gremlin, goblin, puckwudgie, Stitch's delinquent cousin, they all have one thing in common.
Mischief.
Chaos.
And unearned confidence that they could definitely take a grown adult in a fight, despite being only 2 feet tall.
And honestly, that's the real connective tissue tonight. The Sutton family panicked farmhouse standoff. The Gremlins wreaking havoc through Kingston Falls. The McPherson taped aliens creeping in the cabin with uncanny calm. And the folklore beings who just show up. Vibe ominously.
Yeah, all part of the same lineage. Little things in the dark that are definitely not supposed to be there.
But whenever they show up, real or fictional, they reveal something about us. Fear, curiosity, the urge to make sense of the unknown by giving it shape and attitude, and sometimes a Christmas sweater.
And maybe that's why the Hopkinsville story endures. Why Gremlins endures. Why cryptid fucking TikToks endure.
Because we like the idea that the universe is weird, and that weirdness occasionally knocks at the door.
Or jumps on the roof, or stares through a window with those yellow eyes.
Speaking of that, tonight's closing question. If a goblin knocked on your door at 3 a.m., what's your move?
I'd ask it what it wants.
Wrong. Incorrect, Mike. That's a fast pass to being abducted.
I mean, I'm the first person to die in a horror movie. You know that, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but imagine the cinematic arc. Yeah, the emotional growth.
No,
Bites my throat.
y'all don't take advice from him when it comes to porch goblins.
Please don't. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's right. I'll get you killed. Fine. Look, official stance. Lock your doors, stay inside, and appreciate them from a respectful distance.
There you go. That's growth. Proud of you.
Thank you all for joining us on this other descent into the unexplained, the paranormal, the weird, the wonky. We love you guys, and if you have some additional thoughts, or if we got anything wrong, just drop it in the comments or send us a DM. We really love hearing from you.
If you liked tonight's episode, leave a review, tell a friend, and maybe keep the nightlight on. Yep. Sweet dreams.
You've been listening to The Fear Archive, hosted by Amanda Kagawada and Michael Ryan Asap, produced by Cassie Josephove, with original music by Umberto. This podcast is a production of Violet Hour Media.